Alberta stretches across Canada's western interior as a place defined by scale. Mountain ranges rise sharply from the plains. Glacial rivers cut through valleys. Cities appear where transportation, energy, and landscape intersect. The contrast between wilderness and urban life is immediate, and it shapes how travel unfolds across the province. This is a region where tourism follows geography. In the west, national parks frame the Rocky Mountains with lakes, ice fields, and long alpine corridors. To the east, the land opens into badlands and wide prairie, where erosion has exposed layers of deep time. Between these extremes, Alberta's cities act as gateways rather than endpoints, supporting travel into surrounding landscapes. The travel experience here moves between well-known natural sites and urban centers that reflect the province's economic and cultural patterns. Places like Banff and Jasper anchor mountain tourism, while Lake Louise and Moraine Lake concentrate attention around high-altitude scenery. The Columbia Icefield connects these areas through one of the most continuous stretches of glacial terrain accessible by road. Farther east, Drumheller introduces a different visual language, shaped by canyons and fossil-rich formations. Calgary and Edmonton provide contrast, showing how modern cities function alongside tourism rather than separate from it. Climate plays a quiet but important role in how Alberta is visited. Winters are long and cold, especially in the mountains and northern areas, with temperatures often well below freezing. Summers tend to be short but comparatively mild, bringing clearer access to parks, lakes, and highways. Compared to coastal regions of Canada, Alberta experiences more temperature variation and drier conditions. Chinook winds can briefly raise winter temperatures near the Rockies, creating sudden shifts that influence travel timing and seasonal activity. Taken together, Alberta offers a tourism landscape built on movement. Roads connect glaciers to cities, and national parks sit within a day's drive of urban centers. What becomes clear is how these places relate to one another, not as isolated highlights, but as parts of a wider system shaped by land, climate, and access. Now, attention turns to these locations more closely, starting with the landscapes and cities that define travel across Alberta. Calgary stands as the primary gateway into Alberta for many travelers. The city developed where transportation routes, open prairie, and proximity to the Rocky Mountains intersect, and that role still defines how it functions today. Its airport and highway connections make it a natural starting point for journeys west into the mountains or east into the plains. While often seen as a transition city, Calgary supports tourism with museums, river pathways, and a downtown shaped by energy and finance rather than historic districts. What matters here is how the city relates to its surroundings. Calgary sits at the edge of a geographic shift, where flat grassland gradually gives way to rising foothills. Urban development thins quickly outside the city limits, and long sightlines across the prairie reinforce a sense of openness. For many visitors, time in Calgary is brief, but it establishes context before the landscape begins to change. As the route moves west, the transition becomes unmistakable. The horizon tightens. Hills turn into forested slopes, and the Rocky Mountains begin to dominate the view. This change signals entry into Banff National Park, Canada's oldest national park and one of the most visited protected areas in the country. Tourism here is shaped by accessibility, with highways and rail lines following natural corridors through valleys and passes. Banff National Park is organized around contrast and scale. Steep peaks frame glacial lakes and rivers, while wildlife corridors intersect with heavily traveled roads. The park supports a wide range of visitors, from short roadside stops to extended backcountry travel. Infrastructure is present but controlled, designed to manage high visitation while maintaining ecological boundaries. The result is a landscape that feels dramatic yet navigable, structured around clear routes and focal points. Lake Louise stands as one of the park's most recognized locations. Set beneath steep mountain walls and fed by glacial meltwater, the lake's color shifts with light and season. Its popularity comes from both accessibility and visual clarity, with the shoreline offering immediate views without long approaches. Surrounding trails extend into higher elevations, but even at lake level, the scale of the setting is apparent. Moraine Lake offers a different experience. Positioned in a narrower valley and backed by a row of sharply defined peaks, it feels more enclosed and elevated. Access is more controlled, and the setting emphasizes vertical relief over open space. The lake's basin and surrounding rock formations create a layered landscape that changes rapidly with weather and time of day. Together, Lake Louise and Moraine Lake illustrate how Banff concentrates its most iconic scenery into distinct but closely connected locations. Beyond Banff, the route north follows the Icefields Parkway, a mountain highway linking Banff and Jasper through a continuous stretch of peaks, valleys, and glaciers. The road itself becomes part of the travel experience, with changing elevation and scenery shaping the journey as much as the destinations along it. One of the most significant stops along this corridor is the Columbia Icefield. It is one of the largest remaining ice fields in North America, south of the Arctic, feeding multiple major river systems that flow toward different oceans. The ice field is made up of several glaciers, each descending from a shared accumulation zone shaped by centuries of snowfall and compression. Access points allow visitors to observe the ice directly, highlighting both its scale and its visible retreat over time. Tourism here balances education and access, using designated viewpoints and controlled routes to limit environmental impact. Continuing north, the landscape opens into Jasper National Park, where valleys widen and development becomes more dispersed. Lakes, rivers, and mountain basins extend across a broader area, encouraging slower travel and longer stays. Wildlife is more commonly encountered in Jasper, partly due to lower traffic density and larger continuous habitats. Elk, deer, bears, and mountain goats are regularly present within park boundaries, often visible from roadways or trails. Jasper's role within Alberta's tourism network is shaped by this sense of space, offering a different rhythm of travel while remaining closely connected to the same mountain system that defines the province's western edge. Alberta is often associated with mountains, but the province extends far beyond alpine landscapes. East of the Rockies, the terrain shifts into open prairie and eroded badlands, where Drumheller presents a very different side of Alberta's tourism profile. The town sits within a network of canyons and hoodoo formations shaped by water and wind over long periods. This region is closely linked to paleontology, with exposed rock layers revealing fossil-rich ground that attracts visitors interested in deep geological history. Travel here is defined less by elevation and more by contrast, replacing forests and peaks with wide skies and sculpted earth. From the Badlands, attention turns north to Edmonton, the provincial capital and Alberta's final major urban anchor. As a city, Edmonton functions differently from Calgary. It is more administratively focused, with government, education, and cultural institutions playing a central role. The city is built along the North Saskatchewan River, where an extensive river valley park system runs directly through the urban core. This green corridor shapes how the city is experienced, offering long continuous paths and viewpoints that remain active across seasons. Tourism in Edmonton leans toward culture, events, and scale, rather than proximity to national parks. Museums, performing arts venues, and festivals form a steady calendar throughout the year, while major retail and entertainment complexes reflect the city's role as a regional hub. Winters are colder and longer here than in southern Alberta, yet the city remains active, adapting its public spaces and events to seasonal conditions rather than retreating from them. Looking across Alberta as a whole, a clear pattern emerges. Travel moves between cities and protected landscapes, between mountains, ice fields, prairie, and badlands. Each location plays a specific role, connected by highways and shaped by climate and geography. Together, these places form a tourism network built on contrast, distance, and accessibility. This journey through Alberta highlights how varied a single province can be. If this documentary helped clarify how these regions connect and why they matter, consider subscribing to Wanderway for more long-form travel explorations. Liking the video also helps the channel reach new viewers and continue documenting places shaped by landscape and movement.